Hello everybody and welcome back, and let us finish our SSH login program so we can actually successfully log into our Metasploit framework machine, or pardon me, Metasploitable, and actually execute the cat@cshadow command. We want to grab for the root password, and we also want to run some other command in order to see if we can run multiple commands with our program. So let us navigate to our Python programs, SSH FTP. There I have my SSH login.py. Now let me just zoom this in so you can see everything better. Okay, let's nano SSH login.py. And all the thing we have to do right now, since in the previous video we coded the connect function, which should successfully connect to the target. Right now what we want to do is actually code a function that will send the command of grabbing the root password from that target system. So we are expecting prompt right now, as we can see in our connect command. We are expecting prompt, and as soon as we get the prompted, that means that we logged in successfully. We return the connection from our SSH shell, and right now we want to code this function right here, which is send command. We want to send to the target system or target connection, which is this child variable right here, and this is the command that we want to execute. So our send command function should take two arguments. One of them is the basically the connection, or basically the child, and the other one is the command that we want to execute. So let us go up here. Let's make def send command. Once again, make sure that it is named the same as in your main function. It takes an input from the, now we can put here anything we want. So let's say connection, and it takes the command. So this is our function. Let me just not forget these two dots at the end. And all we have to do right now is basically just connection dot send line command. This is all we have to do in order to send to the target the command. Let me just fix this since there is no G at the end of the connection. And all we want to do is expect the prompt once again, since after the command has been executed, we will get another prompt back. So child.expect prompt. And what we want to print is print, or not child, child is our variable. We need to actually type here connection, or maybe it is easier if we change this to child so you don't get confused. Basically the child and the connection is the same thing. So let us switch all of this to child so you don't get multiple variables right here, and let us print child.before. What this will do is this will print the output of our command that we executed on target system. So let us go to the main function once again. We set the host to be the IP address of a Metasploitable, which I will run right now. So go, if you don't have it running at the moment, just go onto your VirtualBox. Start the Metasploitable. Right now I will check if it is still the 192.168.1.5. But we don't really need to have this. We can actually prompt the user to enter the name for that host that they want to scan. So raw underscore input. We already know what this function does. We want to enter the host to target. So we can use something like that. We can even prompt this for the user. So raw input, enter SSH username, and we can prompt for the passwords. So basically raw underscore input, enter SSH password. So we prompt the users for everything. So this doesn't actually target only one target, which is in our case Metasploitable, so users can actually specify any host they want to scan. Let me just go right here, log into my Metasploitable, MSF admin and MSF admin. I check the IP address of our Metasploitable. It is .1.6, so it did change from the previous video. Let me save this, and let's actually try to run this program right after we make it an executable with the chmod +x. So ssh login.py. And right now if I run this, we get the question to enter the host target. So 192.168.1.6. Of course, don't put the same IP address right here. Check the IP address of your Metasploitable on your system. So once you specify this, press enter. The username is msfadmin and the password is msfadmin. Right now we let this run and we can see that we actually get the command to be permission denied. So what does this mean? This means that this user, msfadmin, doesn't really have the permission to actually access that file that stores root password. Now, this can be something that can happen if you basically brute force or log in or hack a non-root account on the SSH. You will not be able to get the permission to run this cat@c shadow command. But let me show you how it looks like once we actually can get that. So I have another virtual machine right here, which is the OS virtual machine, I believe. Let me just check this out. Now you don't need to install it really. It's basically almost the same as the Metasploitable. If we do need it, however, later on I will show you how you can install it, but for now on we really don't need it. The SSH is basically something that you can brute force on any target system that has port 22 open. So right now, since I know the credentials for the root account for the OS virtual machine, so let me just see, failed to open a session. Okay, so let me just run a different one instead. Since I have a bunch of the machines right here, I can just run any of them and see if we can actually get the root password from that machine. So for some reason those machines are not running. Failed to open session details. Okay, doesn't really matter. What matters is if you actually log into the root account from any SSH target, you will be able to execute the cat@c shadow, which will actually get you the root password for the root account. But let's see what else we can actually execute if we go to our sslogin.py. Let's actually execute something that we can, which would be to, for example, let me just remove the grep root. Let's try to ls what's in that directory that we log in. So if we just specify everything once again, so .1.6, msfadmin, we can see that the only directory in that target is the vulnerable directory, which really is the directory on our Metasploitable. So if you just type here ls on my Metasploitable, you can see there is vulnerable right here, as well as here. So we successfully coded a program that can actually log into the SSH and execute some of the commands and bring the output of those commands back to us. Now what we want to do is actually try to make this an attack. So let us actually in the next videos try to make an SSH brute forcer, which will execute a bunch of the connection tries with different passwords and see if it can brute force the SSH account. So that would be about it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you in the next one where we will start our SSH brute forcer. Hope I see you there, and take care. Bye.